Welcome to Let's Talk Investing, a co-production of the Globe and Mail and the Investor Education Fund. I'm Rob Carrick, personal finance columnist at the Globe and Mail, and with me is Superintendent Kevin Harrison. He is an RCMP specialist in securities fraud. Kevin and I are going to talk about the frauds that regular people have to look out for. Scams, frauds, bad financial advisors. Kevin, how bad is the fraud problem in Canada? How much are people losing to fraud?
It's difficult to put firm numbers on it. It's certainly safe to say that it's in the billions. And the reason it's difficult to put firm numbers on it, there's not one entity that records all of the information.
Probably a lot of people aren't reporting the frauds that they've been through either.
That's correct. It's very underreported. But just to give you an example, in 2009, the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre took in excess of 12,000 calls or complaints with respect to just mass marketing fraud, and the estimated dollar value of those frauds was $11 million. So that's just in Ontario.
You know, I'm staggered by the amount of fraud that goes on. How gullible are people? What's your experience? How gullible are people? Why do they believe this stuff?
They believe it, I think, partly because of lack of investor knowledge is one of the primary reasons. Second piece is that the perpetrators of these crimes are actually very good at what they do, and they know what buttons to push to get the less savvy investors to yes very quickly. And I think finally the third thing is greed. People just getting outside their comfort zone in terms of their investment strategies and taking that leap.
Now, Kevin, we've just come through a recession, a global financial crisis, a huge wave of change and disruption in the financial industry. How's that affected the amount of fraud out there?
I don't know that it's affected the amount. I think what it has affected is the amount of fraud that's out there that's being discovered.
So what's happened? How much more fraud is being discovered now?
You'll see a lot of the Ponzi schemes, for example, Madoff, Stanford, Earl Jones, those kind of fraud schemes that were exposed as a result of the financial crisis.
So what happened in the financial crisis that suddenly uncovered, say, a Madoff or an Earl Jones? What happened to them?
What happens is investor strategy changes. People, when the economy's bad, tend to go to more secure investments. So basically on the Ponzi scheme, the perps were faced with people wanting to get out to get into more secure investments and people not wanting to get into those risky type investments, and therefore they were cash strapped and unable to pay the investors that were wanting to get out of the Ponzi scheme.
Okay, thanks Kevin.